Today I'm going to show you how to make a proper Tinder bundle to start your fire. So what you're going to need for this is the finest material you can find. Literally, like as fine as hair. And you want it to be dead and dry, so it takes a flame really easily. And I'm going to be using a ferro rod, so I want something that's going to take a spark as well. Now, I'm just going to use all the materials that I can find around me. And things that might not be in my area, that might be in your area that you can use, or vice versa. For example, cedar bark is a really good tinder material, but it doesn't grow around here, so I can't find any. But it might grow in your area, so you can use that. So there's not any specific materials that you have to use. You can use whatever you can find. Clear out a little spot for where I'm going to make my fire, so I don't catch the woods on fire. You don't want to do that. And that also brings me to my next point, is dead leaves. Dead leaves are a great source of tinder. I use them all the time to make fires. Dry leaves are my friend out here. Except when I'm hunting. They're really loud when I walk around. Try to sneak up on stuff. So if you can find an open area, you can find a lot of grasses, dead grasses. And you want to find things that are standing above the ground, kind of blowing in the wind and getting dried out by the sun, because that's going to be the driest material that you're going to find. And that's exactly what this is doing. It's out in the wind and the sun, so we're going to get some of this. Perfect. You don't want to pull it up by the roots either. Just break it off. Break the stems off, because the roots are going to be covered in mud and they're going to be wet. Like this. You don't want that. Dry grass is a great tinder material, but it does have a waxy outer layer to it to help it retain moisture even when it's dead. So it's not the best tinder in the world, but it does work really good. You just need a little more heat to get it going. Here's a nice dead standing fern here. Looks pretty dry. And I always like to look for pine trees when I'm making a fire, because you can always find dry pine needles, fat wood, resin from the tree, which is highly flammable. Here's a bunch of pine needles that are up on this rock, so they're going to be nice and dry. Perfect. These are great tinder material. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful tinder bundle. So I'm going to ignite my fire with a spark. So for that, I need something like cattail fluff. You can see just how fluffy it is, and it's throwing seeds everywhere. It's very light, very fine material, and that's exactly what you want to take a spark. Now, if you're using a lighter, you can skip that part. You don't need flash tinder. You can just light the grass on fire and it'll go up in flames. Now you can see this progression with my tinder. Very, very fine material. Cattail seed heads. And then I work my way up. Then I go to birch bark, which is also really fine, but not as fine as cattail fluff. And then dry leaves, which are also pretty fine material. And this dead fern. And this will catch the flame of this. And then I have grass, which is a little more of a coarse material. So it's a perfect combination. Alright, so I have my tinder bundle here. And I want to form it into a bird's nest. Now I'm only going to use half of this. So I'm going to form this into a bird's nest. And the way I do that is really simple. Just take your bundle and just bend it like that. So now it's like it's a bird nest with a handle. It's perfect. So now all you do is just hollow out the middle, like where a bird would lay its eggs, except I'm not going to be putting eggs in there. I'm going to be putting flash tinder in there. Just want to place it right in the middle like that. And you want to fluff it up real good. Spread the fibers out, fluff it up, because if you don't do this, it's not going to take a spark as well, and it's not going to light up as well. I'm going to take some birch bark that I found, really dry birch bark, and I'm going to kind of mix it in and put it on top of the cattail fluff. And I like to use the driest of the dry leaves I can find, because they're not always dry, because they're sitting on the ground. You want to crush them up, just kind of sprinkle it all over top of the flash tinder. That's looking pretty good there. And I could use fat wood, just shave some fat wood shaving in there, but that's almost cheating. It's not really, because you can find this stuff in the wild, but I'm going to pretend that we can't find any fat wood today. We're going to use no fat wood, because you might not be able to always find it. Oh, and I almost forgot about my pine needles. I'm going to throw those on too, just for good measure. All right, so you want to take your ferro rod. Kind of close it in on itself like that.
And there you have it.
So that's how you make a Tinder bundle. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more.